is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 40.5. This is Bobby, the Nintendo Guru. I'll change it this time since you guys didn't hear the last time. What is up, fellas? I got my two guys here from England and Scotland. Toby, what's up?
I'm alright. I've got a bit of twitch on my nose still.
You didn't have to bring that back up.
I did. I want to let people know my frustrations, okay?
Oh my God, man. Dude,
it's still there. My nose is still twitching.
Okay, so let's preference this for people that don't know. We did about 5 minutes of footage, and I forgot to hit the record button on it. So in the last version, Toby gave the same spiel as he just did crying, and we mocked him for a few minutes, and he comes right back, and he's a glutton for punishment. He loves to point out his flaws and try to garner sympathy.
I'm just letting people know how I feel. You ask me how I am, I'm being
The only one that cares how you feel is your mother and maybe Karina. The rest of the world is just like, the Hobbit needs to stop.
Yeah.
And Amy...
Stop the Hobbit.
Only thing you're doing is giving Amy ammunition, because I can't wait for this. This is wonderful. So, anyway.
Let's move along, then. Let's move along.
Oh, what are you, bitter now? Don't get bitter. Take it easy there. But I am gonna bring this up because it got cut off beforehand. The next time you decide to sneeze with that gigantic kazoo of a nose,
it's not a kazoo of a nose.
There is a mute button up top. Click the mute button.
Oh, it is up top. Well, there's a mute. All right, fine, but
so
my nose is perfectly petite and normal.
I don't know, with that twitch you have, it's making it bigger. I think it's like working out your nose and it's making it muscular now. Alan, how are you?
Alan, how are you, Alan?
I'm fine. Nothing in my body's twitching abnormally, so that's always a good thing. I take that as a win over.
Toby's whole body is twitching pretty much. He's just,
Maybe I just.
Maybe what it is. You know how some people, when they're going mental, like they're slipping from the throes of sanity, they get a twitch in their eye. Maybe this is your twitch, but it's on your nose because you're just totally weird.
I do get eye twitches quite often as well.
It's possible. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kick the show off like we do every episode with our Geek Outs. And Alan, what are you geeking out about this week?
I forgot. I was going to say Civil War. I said that last week, but yeah, okay, Civil War. But no, I'm going away to Edinburgh for 3 days. I've got comics, just bought them, all lined up to read. So I'm going to kind of geek out about that because you'll like it. It's DC stuff, so can't call me the Marvel guy all the time.
Just because you read one book
doesn't make you.
Just because you read one book doesn't make you a fanboy to the other side.
I'm not saying I am a fanboy. I just feel I should better understand the problems that you have to deal with on a monthly or weekly basis.
I don't have problems at all with the way they do stuff.
You got so many. Two of them are on this show right now.
Pretty much. Toby, what are you geeking out about?
I'm geeking out about the new Bourne trailer. Jason Bourne, it's called. It's actually got Matt Damon in it. The last film had Jeremy Renner. I think it was Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
I don't really remember much about the last one, but
I didn't watch the last one.
It was pretty good, but
I liked it.
Kind of forgettable. But the first three Bourne films were great, and especially the ones directed by Greengrass, and he's coming back to direct this one, so I'm so pumped about that. The trailer is kind of a bit rubbish, but it did show a few cool action scenes and fighting scenes, and I really enjoy the hand-to-hand combat in Bourne films is just amazing. So.
I liked the first one. The second one was but the first one was amazing. I love the first one.
Yeah, I do like the first one.
Myself, I am geeking out about SteamWorld Heist DLC that will be hitting this week on the 28th. SteamWorld Heist was hands down last year my favorite game on the 3DS. I just loved it. And they just announced this week that coming the 28th, which is Thursday, I believe, we are getting new DLC, and it looks like it's going to be like pretty much another world. It's not. At first, I thought, like, what are they going to really do? It seems like it's a whole nother campaign, at least like one world, like another chapter, and that's kind of cool. Like, it seems like there's It's hard to tell by the image. The image is kind of like streaky a little bit, like it's moving. But it looks like it's a character with like a hood on and stuff.
And some spikes.
Yeah, it's different. It's all like the image is gray, but I think they're doing it on purpose to kind of be like it's coming to life or something. But it looks cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to the HD versions. I'm curious where they're going to go first.
PS4, clearly.
I don't know. Well, clearly.
I think it's pretty clear. Well, all right, it's either PC or PS4, but
they hinted Wii U, but I don't know that they're going to do that.
I don't know.
I think second thought might have backed him out of it, but Brian did ask that. He was like, "Should we go to Wii U next?" So he didn't ask me. He asked like the community that I'm in. They brought that up. They were like, "Where should we take it next?" And they were leaning, I think, towards Wii U next.
The thing is,
I think that changed up. I think because in talking to everybody, like a lot of people wanted the Wii U, but they also were like, "You need to go where the consoles are and where the numbers are."
if they put it on Wii U, though, I sort of expect / just hope for gamepad control, like some sort of unique thing for the gamepad, other than just menu management. You know, I mean, because
it would be your second screen. It would be. If you look at how the 3DS is, because that's how SteamWorld Dig was. Whatever the 3DS was, you had the top screen, bottom screen, and that's the way they'll do it. I mean, look at that second screen on Dig and on Heist is awesome. You know, it's nice to have that map right there to see the ship and see where you're going and stuff on Heist. So I'm all for it. You know, I would love that because if I look at the difference between between Dig on like the Wii U and the 3DS, and then look at it on the PlayStation 4, there's a difference. I don't have to have a map on my TV.
Yeah.
You know, like it's nice to have that extra map down below where I could just look down real quick and see where I'm at. And it's a bigger map. It's not some little tiny thing where I got to look up and try to figure out where I'm at. So that works. What we're playing, Toby? What are you playing?
Well, I had a GTA Online match, but we won't talk about that because I played something different for a change. I played some Broforce, which is a PS Plus game, and it's actually a lot more fun than I originally thought it was going to be. It's very sort of fast-paced. It's like a 2D action shooter game where you play all these different action movie heroes. They're like parodies. It's not like officially licensed or anything, but they're clearly based on Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone. You know, it's got Judge Dredd characters in there. It's got Blade. It's got all these different movie-type characters in there, and they've all got unique weapons and abilities and skills. Like, you know, Blade is very hand-to-hand focused. He's got a sword that just cuts through enemies really quickly, and he can like zoom across the screen with like a blade, like just slicing through all the enemies. And then Arnie is like a Terminator, and he can get like a minigun out, and it takes a while to like get going, but it's really powerful. But it has like a bit of kickback to it, so the more you fire it, the more you get thrown backwards. And it's like even the characters from Men in Black are there, and like they've got laser guns and everything. It's just well over the top, fast-paced action. But it's
I gotta
really,
check that out.
Yeah,
I have it. I downloaded it. I played like 2 minutes of it. I was like, I don't want to play it.
I don't know. I just really got into it, and you can play online with people as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so we'll have to try that, give that a go.
Yeah, give that a shot. Alan, what are you playing?
I've been playing the game of life.
Oh Lord.
I've been going to the gym, getting ready, you know, for the trip. You know, cleaning, cooking. I haven't had time to play games this week, so I've been playing the game of life, and it is slowly beating me down.
Do you remember the actual board game of life?
Oh, good God.
No one remembers that. Nobody remembers.
That's because Toby played it last night. That's why he's asking.
Next to candlelight, because we don't have power in this country, because it's medieval times.
Yeah,
pretty much. It feels that way. Based upon your internet, anyway. So, myself, I am playing
the internet.
I am playing Star Fox, and you know what? I played. Okay, so I pre-installed it. I pre-ordered it digitally. It came, you know. It went live on Friday. So I woke up around 5 a.m., got up, got showered right away, went downstairs, put about 30, 40 minutes in. Wasn't feeling it at all. And I was like, ugh, I don't know that I'm going to like this game. The controls are tough. I'm having issues with it. And then this morning, I woke up and I was like, all right, let me try this again. And I went downstairs and I put about 2 hours in. And I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to get a feel for the game, what's going on. I think the problem that people are having with this game off Jump Street is just that you're just not used to the controls. It's taking a moment to grab it. And you know, I've read things that people said like it'd be a better game if it had traditional controls, this, that, the other. I don't know. I like having the extra. I like having the shooting on the gamepad. The one thing I don't like is that you can't really fly the ship and shoot at the same time. That makes it a little tough. But ultimately, I feel like it allows you to really do damage. You know, like when you grab in and you start locking in on stuff and you start shooting it, you can really start hammering away at this stuff. I'm going to do a review on the game. I want to finish the thing before I really make a full judgment on it, but I'm not as pissed as a lot of people are about it, and I'm not as down on it. I don't think it's the greatest game ever by any stretch of the imagination, but I also don't think it's the worst, and I don't think it's, I think that...
You're playing it with full gyro controls, right? Because isn't there an option in the menu where you can sort of tone down the gyro?
It doesn't really take them off.
Yeah, but what does it actually do, though? Have you fiddled with that option?
No, I didn't mess with it. I just went with whatever controls they gave me at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's basically like... It's like this. If you're looking at the TV, right, and you're controlling the ship, you could still shoot stuff with the ship. You know what I mean? But it's not precise. So it's more of like up, down, that type of stuff. But let's say...
What does the right stick do? If the left stick's flying the ship around...
The right stick basically controls stick movement as well. Or ship movement as well. So, like, if I want to do a barrel roll, I double tap the stick to the left. If I want to do the loop-de-loop, I push down on the left stick and up on the right stick, and it does it.
Okay.
So it does more precision controls with the ship.
Yeah.
But you can also just push buttons, and it does it quicker. You know. The one thing I don't like about it is when I'm shooting. If I have to keep pushing the trigger to shoot. If I hold the button down, it goes into like a lock-on, like a power-up shot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay, but I'd rather just...
It used to be on the N64.
I haven't played that game.
I'm pretty sure that's how it was on the N64.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I would rather be able to just hold the button down and have like a rapid fire, and then if I want to shoot a missile or something, push the top trigger button. I have to look and see if I can... I know I wouldn't be able to remap that. That would be stuck on what it was. But later on today, Tony and I are going to do some co-op because I think that's where the game is going to excel.
Yeah.
I think that's where the game is going to be a lot of fun. You have one person control the gun, one person control the ship. That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that in some reviews, and some people said the only downside to that is during certain boss battles where they lock the camera. So the person flying the ship can't see what's in front of them because it's like the ship's going round to the left, and you still control the ship, but you just can't see what's in front of you. So there's like a few little bits like that are a bit funny with the co-op. But
yeah, we'll see.
I think it would be pretty cool.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first topic. Last week, this week, I mean, it's been going on for a couple weeks now. There's been rumors of Sony going to a 4.5 or a 4K. Apparently this week it got announced that internally Sony's been calling this the Sony Neo. My question is with these half steps, mid-generation consoles, are they becoming the norm? And are you okay with this becoming the norm? Or do you have an issue with it?
I think that I don't have a phone on contract, right? Because people compare it to upgrading phones every year.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those people that does that. I buy a phone outright, and just see how long it lasts or until it's totally rubbish, and then I'll be forced to upgrade.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I'm not really used to doing the upgrade thing like some people are. So that kind of makes me a bit nervous about it. But, you know, I'm starting to warm up to the idea of, you know, a console future where consoles are more like PCs in that they just reinvent themselves, like the cycle gets upgraded every few years. But I wonder like how that's going to affect the timing of PS5 or whatever's after NX. Like, is it going to make the console generations further apart? Like, there wasn't a massive leap between PS3 and PS4, but it was a good enough leap that I was satisfied, you know, with like the console itself. But if there's a PS4.5 or a Neo, whatever it's called, then that's going to make the PS5, that leap's not going to seem even less significant, you know?
Yeah.
Unless they do something crazy or technology is really advanced by then, but, you know, because it's going to be more incremental, so I don't know.
What about you, Alan?
I don't know. It's such a... I mean, as a proposition, the idea of a more powerful system, I like it. But I kind of feel like I'm an early adopter. For worse, I always end up buying these things, if not day one, pretty much very close. I think the Xbox One's the system I've waited the longest to buy since kind of the 360 PS3 era. Before that, it's been always on launch. And I get what Sony are doing, but I personally don't think the market that exists, it's like Toby says, it's like they bring out PS4.5, they kind of are going to underwhelm with the PS5 because it's like, well, it's only a mild step up from what you're already rebuying. I also see it as a bit, I don't know, it's, you know, how much have we spent like top dollar on these, what, 2 years ago? And already they're now going,
not even 2 years ago.
By the way, that system, that system we said was great isn't going to be as great because in the end of the year you're going to get this.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not this is kind of Sony and Microsoft in part responding to Nintendo being able to come out with something better, we don't know. Again, but is it in part because the PS4 isn't going to be able to run PSVR as well as they wanted? It makes me wonder if the systems that they've been demoing PSVR aren't actually in, you know, kind of mocked up Neos running PSVR. But I don't, you know, will I buy one? Well, probably not. If it comes out the same year as the same time as NX, I'm going to go for NX.
The thing is,
I don't think we can adapt this market to the mobile phone market.
No.
And Jared Petty made it a really good point I never thought of, but it's true. The best thing about these systems being closed is that developers have to kind of work at it. They have to kind of eke out every bit of power, and that kind of ingenuity results in better games going forward. Just giving them more power just makes things it makes things easier, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to learn more about the system and be able to go, actually, you know what, we can get that result on this system. They're going to be less inclined to try and find workarounds to make games on PS4, Xbox One, you know, really fly when they can go, well, actually, you know what, we can make this the lowest common denominator because it's the best version, and that can just run if it runs. And I think that kind of it loses a little bit of the magic of watching a developer. Like when we saw GTA 5 running on the 360, that blew my mind. I was like, it's a 360 game. You know.
The thing is, I feel as well, is that with the PS4, like third-party games that I get on the PS4, I feel like, you know, forgetting about PC, I feel like I'm getting the best version of that game because the PS4 is more powerful than an Xbox One. You know, they always do the comparisons, and it's always just a little bit better on PS4. But now there's going to be a step up from that. I'm going to feel like I've no longer got the best version I can get on a console. So that's going to make me feel a bit like, you know, I've got Uncharted 4, but there's a slightly better version of Uncharted 4. I've just got to cough up another £100 and trade in my console for it. Like, I'm just going to feel a bit like, you know, I'm not getting the best anymore. So,
yeah,
I think it's an absolute joke. I think that it devalues our consoles that we already have. you're sadly mistaken if you think that you're going to take your console and they're going to give you 300 and then you got to cough up another 100, because the minute this thing comes out, it's going to lower that value. Just look at any console that they ever come out with. It's a joke. They're winning the console war. They are now going to they're hurting themselves with this. Nobody is happy about this. Just a few fanboys are screaming and loving it. But most of the people are like, this is a joke. This is an absolute mess. Normally at this point is when we start getting new versions of the consoles and the other versions start becoming cheaper. Or they just come out with, like the Slim. They come out with a new console and it's cheaper and it's easier for people to adopt in. Newsflash, if the PS3 didn't come out with the PS3 Slim, I never would have bought one because I wasn't paying $600 for that console. Mm-hmm. That's my fear. My fear is that now we get into this thing of, here's a PS4.5, whatever, it's $600, $500, whatever it is, and then 3 years later, rather than creating the same console with the same parts, just more precise, and because you're using more and it brings manufacturing costs down, they learn all this stuff and they learn how to lower the cost of something over time, over manufacturing. Yeah. Now they're going to go, oops, now we're going to charge you the same $500 we just charged you 3 years ago, and by the way, it's going to play a little better. It's BS, and the people that are comparing it to phones, grow up. It's not the same thing. It's nothing the same thing. The market's different, yeah. Exactly. When I upgrade my iPhone is doing all kinds of different things. There's multitudes of upgrades that are happening to the phone, not more processing power, and that's it. Like, I'm not paying $400 for more processing power for a new iPhone. That's all you're paying for with this. That's it. That's all you get at the end of the day. And it's like, this is nonsense. This makes no sense whatsoever to me. I think that people that are acting like that I'm the fool for thinking that what I'm thinking, you're wrong. You're wrong. There's no way humanly possible this should be okay in anybody's mind. If it's a situation where PlayStation's coming out and they're going, look, PlayStation 4, if you get PSVR, you have to buy it with this extra adapter, and that is what the PS4.5 is, and the upgrade is just to make PSVR run better. See, they're not saying that, because if they say that, then people aren't going to buy the headset for their PS4, and they're going to be pissed because the guys like you that kept going, Alan, I'm saying, the guys like Alan that were like, oh, Sony won the war. They won the VR war. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because now I got to spend $400 to $500 for another console, and the VR, and the sticks, and the camera, just to make it run smoothly. And that's why they're not coming out and saying that at this point. And granted, they're not saying anything right now because it's not official. But if they were smart, like Colin Moriarty said, shut it down. Do not bring this out. You are winning the war. Don't do this. This is especially with obviously it was Giant Bomb that broke all the news. The big one though is this kind of I wouldn't say strong arming. I think that's too heavy-handed a term. They are kind of they're setting terms to developers. If you're developing for a PS4, you've also got to develop for Neo. Yeah. Now that is obviously having a knock on, because he's obviously then tweeted out Colin Moriarty saying, I'm hearing from devs they don't like it. And of course they're not going to like it. You're having to take an engine that you've optimized to run on a specific CPU, because a lot of people seem to think it's very easy that, it's just the same CPU. It doesn't work that way. That game is set so that packets of information are sent and unloaded at specific times, and they work that engine to work at its best on that system. They've then got to rework that engine to work on a faster set of memory. Yep. So everything has to be retooled. Because it can send things quicker, they've then got to work out, well, how do we unload it faster? They have to rejig the whole thing. The whole game's got to work. Do they do that? If they had a choice, they'd probably say, well, we might think about it. But Sony are saying, no, you have to do this, and it has to hit. If you're hitting
30 frames a second, and you've got to hit 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
If you're adding, you've got to have more effects. It's like they're saying to them, you have to increase your development budget on our platform.
Yeah.
This is a completely mental decision to be made by the front runner. If it was Microsoft coming out and going, right, we acknowledge we screwed up. Here's the Xbox 1.5, which is ridiculous, which has all these upgrades. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Their memory architecture is a nightmare. That's the problem developers got. If they came out and said, here's a new architecture, it's bang on identical to the PS4, we've switched to GDDR5, I don't think they would do that. We're giving you a new CPU and a new GPU, which is what they're rumored to be doing, keeping the same memory. That makes more sense. They're on the back foot. They've sold 14 million units compared to Sony's 40-odd million.
Yeah.
It makes sense for a company to go, we effed up, here's the system that'll work, developers can port games, it's going to run the same if not better.
Yeah.
For Sony to come out and do it, it just goes, well, why are you doing this? It makes sense for even Nintendo were to say, here's our new console, it's pretty much a pumped up PS4. That makes sense. It doesn't make sense for Sony to be going, we're going to suddenly give a big middle finger to 40 million consumers who got us back to where we are. And at the moment, they seem to be very quiet in acknowledging what they're going to do. I mean, what's the incentive for me, you, Toby, to go, well, I'm going to upgrade?
There's none.
Oh, PSVR runs better. It's like, well, you sold PSVR as running just fine, the old system, so I'm happy there. You want me to suddenly fork out 350, 400 quid for another system I already have?
Yeah.
There's
You
also
need to give me a reason.
the 4K angle, but most people don't have a 4K display.
And most people aren't buying a 4K because you're going to tell me that I got to go spend $2,000 in order to get the full optimization out of this console. Get out of here! It's smoke and mirrors, man. It's a pipe dream. And again, the people that are defending this, it's catastrophic moving forward. Because if all the console makers start doing this, we are in trouble. Seriously. Mm-hmm. I get why Nintendo's doing it. The Wii U is a failure. They need to ditch that console and move on and start over. It's a reset button for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Newsflash, if Nintendo sold 40 million units of the Wii U, we would not be having a discussion about the NX at all. It wouldn't even happen. They would still be pumping them out, and they would be pounding their chest from the rooftops going, we're hanging on to this baby for another 4 or 5 years if we can. We're not talking about no upgrades. Like you said, if Microsoft was doing it, it makes sense. It makes zero sense.
Are they doing it, though? Because
well, there's rumors that they might be going to
yeah.
it, but they haven't officially said anything. And I don't think, again, if Microsoft does it, if it's some tweaks to make it easier for the dev teams and all that stuff, it sucks, but it makes a lot more sense.
If the PS4K came out, and that would widen the gap between an Xbox One game and a PS4 game even further.
Yeah.
That would really hurt Microsoft, I think, if the PS4K took off.
In terms of it being confirmed, again, it's not been officially confirmed, but AMD, there's a thing on the NBC, I got quite heated with a guy, we had a really good discussion about the whole thing, PS4K, NX and all that. AMD have released that they have a big chunk of their 2016 to 2017 revenues coming from 3 semi-customs, which I think pretty much confirms that Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo, if it's broken out evenly, because I think if it was 2 semi-customs, it'd be one company ordering twice. So it's 3 companies have ordered 3 semi-custom chips from AMD for this year and the next financial year.
What if the Nintendo NX
Sony, we know
is 2 devices, though?
Yeah, but then I still think it would come through as just, they would only count it as one semi-custom because it's one customer.
Different. Okay.
Yeah, I still think it'll be one customer, they'd count it. That confirms me that Sony and Microsoft are both toying with this. What worries me is for Sony is it's going to do a lot of damage of that PR they got going, that really good grace they had coming into the system's launch. I think with the folk that now own it, they are going to do some damage to that goodwill. Which, how will that manifest in the market? Could benefit Microsoft and it could benefit Nintendo. Folk going, well, I was going to drop for VR, but screw you, I'm going to buy a Nintendo NX.
I think that, I really do. I think that Nintendo is, Nintendo was starting to get, people were starting to get anxious and pointing at Nintendo going, like, it was. I think Nintendo was on the verge of the tide starting to turn a little bit because people were getting annoyed with Nintendo not giving us information. That took this away. People aren't even focused on that no more. They're focused on, this is BS, this is nonsense, and it basically, to me, Nintendo is got to be sitting back laughing right now, going, yes, please. And I talked about it on the podcast with Sean Capri this past week. Like, if we ran Nintendo, my wholeheartedly, my defense at this point, my whole marketing is bash Sony, tear them up right now with these, because it's a consistent thing with Sony. They finally reach the pinnacle and they get on top and they do something so stupid to bury themselves. And this is a dumb move. Wholeheartedly, I think, I might be being a little bit too hard on them, but at the end of the day, I think I'm more pissed because I just spent $400 last year on a PS4, not even a year ago. It's June, it's a year. And out the gate, I went and spent another $100 to upgrade the memory to a 2 terabyte. And now, a year later, it's basically obsolete to some degree. And people will sit there and go like, oh, you don't have to buy this. It's if you want to upgrade. Come on, stop. Because in a month from now or a month after launch, you're going to start seeing comparison photos of PS4, and it's going to be like looking at Twilight Princess on the Wii versus the Wii U. And of course you're going to want to go upgrade and buy it. I refuse. I'm not giving them any more of my money if they do this, and I'm done. I'll buy future consoles. I will not do these half steps. This is nonsense.
I think a big thing Nintendo need to take advantage of, because it's ended next week or this week coming. The rumor will be, that'll be the investors meeting. If they've got any wherewithal, they will take advantage of this negativity and kind of come out saying, and here's some of the specs for our new console. Yeah. Don't give us the name. Just say the new console.
I don't think they'll do it at the investors meeting. I don't think they'll do anything at the investors meeting. I think if anything, they'll just say like, hey, we have an announcement coming, because I don't think they want to say stuff like that and then allow the websites and stuff to grab it and twist it and mess it up. I think they want to control their messaging. The only way you control that messaging is to say, like, we're going to have an announcement in a couple of weeks. Because that's typically, a lot of the directs come right after the investor meetings. So I think they're going to not want to give out specific specs just then. They're going to want to do it at an event or at a Nintendo Direct or something of that nature, or a press conference, and just come out with it that way. But, that's getting a little off the topic. That's a different thing altogether. But I don't know. For me, ultimately, now here's a question. I already said I'm not going to buy it. Will you two buy a 4K?
I don't really think we can say until we know officially what it is, how much it's going to cost, and all of that. It doesn't interest me like the NX does, so right now I'm going to just have to say no. But
I'm not even talking. I'm not talking about NX versus PS4K. I'm just talking in general.
Yeah, in general. If it is just a raw power leap and the games just look a bit better, I don't see the point in upgrading. But I will say, my hard drive on my PS4 is full. I've only got the 500 gig model, so unless I get a new hard drive to put in it, then that's the only reason I would think about upgrading to a bigger hard drive. But there's no point just buying a whole console for that. So,
what about you, Alan?
As I say, the onus is on them to make me want to buy one. But I would say straight now, based on what I'm reading, no, I won't. As I say, I'd rather get a new console, and I'll soldier on with what I've got, and until it becomes a case where that thing can't run the games that I want to play, if that's what inevitably... if this come out and say Last of Us 2 will only run on... apart from the fact you'll kill that game, and it said it will only run on the PS Neo, then you may have me going, right, fine, but when I'm only going to get 50 quid from a PS4 because the new one killed the market, it makes it a more difficult sell. So I'm going to say no, but caveat, it's on them to prove that I should buy one.
Yeah. Okay, so going from one set of rumors to another set of rumors. Um,
So many rumors.
I know it's what we live on right now. So the NX leaker 10K, basically in Neogaf, it started off. He made some comments and some rumors about games. Emily Rogers backed those rumors on those games. Basically, it was, in a nutshell, it was basically saying that Zelda U, Smash Wii U, Mario Maker, and Splatoon would all move from the Wii U to the NX when the NX launches. Emily backed that and said she's hearing the same rumors. Then he went on and gave a laundry list of specs and different things that he's hearing about that she didn't agree with, and that she kind of turned on a little bit. Then it started to debate, well, and it felt like as a consensus, most people agreed with Emily in terms of like they just trusted what she was hearing over what 10K was hearing, and basically in some minds it was debunked. But then to take it a step further, what was it? The next day, 10K basically disappeared from Neogaf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my question is,
Deleted it.
Does that debunk the rumors, or was it just that Emily sent out snipers and took him out?
I don't know.
I was kidding about this. You guys didn't even bite on the joke, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the,
No,
like Nintendo ninjas, you know.
No. My question is like that. Does that officially debunk the rumors? Like, does that mean that this is all?
I think it puts less credibility on this guy because, you know, I think Emily Rogers has been right before on most of the stuff that she talks about, and I don't know how proven 10K is. So I guess that's why people have got more faith in Emily Rogers. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of weird that he just scarpered from Neogaf after this comment was made. So it's like, why else would he leave? You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe he was just offended or something. But
possibly.
But you know, like, I don't think you can really believe any of the rumors, like, because they all conflict each other. So
okay, let me ask you a question. Or I want to ask Alan, because Alan, you're on Neogaf, correct?
I troll it like I can't think of anything good to kind of follow that up with. But no, I'm on it quite often.
Okay.
But I don't actually have a registered account.
Okay, so you don't have a registered account on there?
No, but I follow a lot of, particularly the Nintendo threads, stuff about NX. I did the same with the Wii U coming up to it. I was like, speculation on power.
So
and all
in
that,
order to get an account with Neogaf, you have to be invited, correct?
You can kind of put a request, but they then want to make sure that you're not just some kind of complete dolt. So they kind of do some things to make sure you're okay.
Okay.
With folk that leak, they generally do a verification.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not the verification's up to snuff anymore, I don't know. I think with 10K, I think what's happened is he nailed the software stuff. Whoever leaked him that stuff was spot on, because he tiered his leaks as rumors, and he's like, you know, this one's been confirmed by multiple sources. And you'll notice that the stuff that kind of got knocked back, which was the controller gimmick, the chipset and all that, seems to have been the undoing. That wasn't multiple source verified, or at least it wasn't kind of 3 or 4 sources.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what has happened is he's peppered amongst the gravel are a couple of nuggets of gold, which were accurate, which was like the 4 games that were mentioned. One bit that kind of did, I thought, oh cool, I heard that rumor before, that would be cool, was the Luigi's Mansion 3. There was a rumor way back before that they were doing Luigi's Mansion 3, and it was going to look like a Pixar movie, and it was going to have all these cool effects, and it was going to be like a showcase for the system. So when I saw that, I did think, oh cool, that's confirming that one. But it's like you say, does that undo that rumor now as well? Or is I think what's happened with him is he got lucky, it's been confirmed, and he's kind of gone a little bit further without maybe trying to do what he did before, which is get more folk to back it up, and it's just kind of gone, and it's not gone well for him.
Yeah.
But kind of with Toby, we're getting leaks so often, it's mental.
Yeah, it's crazy anymore how bad they're coming out, and how much and how often, and it just, You know, I questioned it earlier in the week, and I was just like, what is the benefit to the person leaking this information?
I was
Like it's
about to say that.
like it doesn't like it. Okay, so if I work for Nintendo and I tell Alan and Toby this information, what do I get out of it? You're obviously because in this situation, and I bring this up as well when I was talking earlier in the week, but it's not like Liam and Emily are paying anybody for this information. So what's the benefit to give them the information?
I think it's just part of what we grew up. I mean, remember when you would get. I remember distinctly Nintendo going from the N64 to the GameCube, and I think it's just become one of those things that's so tied to the experience of being a gamer and a bit of a nerd. It's like, what's next? What are we going to get? And some of the stuff that was coming out about the GameCube before it became officially what it was like ridiculous. It was like, oh, it's going to be, it's like so powerful. It's going to be insane, and it's like, it's just part of the fun, isn't it? And then we get the real stuff that comes in amongst that, and it's.
I get why we get all into it and why we want to hear about it. I want to know, and I don't understand why anybody would leak this information to somebody. Like, I don't understand why this person that works for Nintendo is risking their job by giving somebody that essentially they really don't know.
I think it's because if you work for a company and you know all these secrets, like you are a keeper of secrets, and it feels like amazing to know all of this cool stuff that nobody else knows, and you want to tell someone, you want to go, I know this, and nobody else in the world knows this, like, and they're like trusting people, like maybe like they just want other people, maybe they're just excited about the projects they're working on. They're like, I want people to know about this. Like, I can't wait to tell anyone about this. Let's just leak a little bit out, tease people, get people excited.
Yeah. So, do you feel like Nintendo knows that this is happening and they're okay with it, or do you think that if they caught it, they would fire somebody?
I think that they would fire them or reprimand them in some way if they knew who it was. I just think they don't know who it is.
I don't think it's from this stuff's not from Nintendo directly. I think this has come about through it's not. I don't think that it's come from someone that's working on that game. It's going to be something else. It's going to be
like a friend of a friend.
Well, no, it's going to be from someone that's, say, like, who's working in the marketing department, and it's like, right, come up for mock-ups because we're considering releasing these games. And it's like, sweet, we're working on Mario Maker and like new packaging, how we're going to remarket these games. And I never think it's directly from someone knuckle deep, especially from a first-party Nintendo. You will, the people disappear.
So what you're saying is the marketing department has basically got to make new packaging for an NX game and all this, that, and the other. Yeah. So they bring in a firm to sell them on why they should use their designs and this, that, and the other. Okay, that makes a little sense. That makes sense.
It's also like development stuff. We always find out about leaks about software from hardware from third parties because they sign NDAs, but once you start getting engineers running it and artists working on it, again, it's the more folk you add to the list, the more likely you're going to get someone with loose lips. Okay, it's not great because it can sometimes ruin surprises, like Mother 3. Emily Rogers kind of famously came off Twitter because of her Mother 3 leak. But I, as a fan, love it. It's great. Okay, it does have a negative effect. I sometimes think we get overhyped. Some people do, and then they're just never going to be happy. Mm-hmm. But then there are the times when you hear a rumor and then it turns out to be true, and it's like, how cool is this? And it's like NX. We can speculate till the cows come home about what's going to be. With Nintendo, though, never place a firm bet that they're going to do what you expect them to do.
No. I don't. You know what? As time, because anybody that's a Nintendo fan and has been for many years, it's always like and I'm going to use the term, but it's not what I mean per se. It's like kind of like a bait and switch. Like, it's not Nintendo saying like, oh, this is what it is, but it's what the fans think. Like, oh my God, it's going to be this, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's something totally different than what we were thinking. Um, You know, so that to me is where Nintendo is just very hard to predict, and I think that's where a lot of the fun comes from when you do start to hear these things, because you go, well,
Yeah.
could they? Could because, and I think a lot of it is falls on Nintendo themselves, because back in the 80s and the 90s, like, they were releasing stuff that nobody saw coming, and it was stuff that, like, an example. I remember being a kid, and then I get an issue of Nintendo Power, and I open it up, and there's Super Mario All Stars. Not even on the radar. Nobody even saw that game coming. And it was like, holy crap. Not only is it all my favorite games on one cartridge, they look better, they're all upgraded, and on top of that, here's this other game, I don't even know what it is, I've never even played it before, but apparently it's the real Super Mario Bros. 2, and it's like, nobody saw that come. So when they were doing stuff like that, and then like the Rumble controller on the Rumble pack on the Nintendo 64, when they were doing like analog controls, like with the sticks, where like if you pushed real lightly, Mario would tiptoe, and then the more you pushed, the faster he would run, and stuff like. When you looked at all that ingenuity and all that stuff that they were consistently doing, like, and a lot of that came from left field that nobody saw coming. That's where I feel like Nintendo, everybody's always trying to be the first to make that talk and make that announcement and get it out there. But where we get these crazy stories sometimes, it's because you can't ever throw anything away. Like, if you were to go to Sony and go, Sony's going to come out with a device, it's going to be a hybrid, it's going to be a portable and a handheld, and it hooks up to your system, and you better be like, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. But with Nintendo, it's a possibility, because they're just crazy enough to do something like this.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
And that's where people, motion controls. Seriously, nobody could have predicted motion controls before Nintendo came out and said, we're going to do motion controls.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. Last topic, I just want to wrap it up with this. It's a question that, like, there's always a debate between the three of us. I am the type of person that is, I would say, 90% in on the digital. You guys are more physical in terms of how you consume your gaming.
You know it.
What does it take? What does it take for you guys to go digital? I know, Alan, you need internet. That's irrelevant,
right?
Yeah, that would be really good.
In the best, if you had the best solution, like if you in the perfect world, what does it get?
Right, three things.
Yeah.
Right, three things. So first, you need hard drive space, right? Because you need the space to download all of your games, and games are getting massive now. Like AAA console releases are huge, so you need a big old hard drive to handle all that. Next is price. So it comes down to price a lot with me. If I can get a game like half the price digitally compared to a physical version, I will more likely go for the digital version. And lastly, I've forgotten. I've totally forgotten.
Oh Lord.
But I had 3 points. Is hard drive, cost, and I don't know, something else.
The Hobbit mind is just so small it can't.
I'll get it in a minute. Alan, say your point.
I think reliable broadband.
That's
I think
it. That's
I think storage is a big one, but reliable. Yeah, I mean, I've got the joke before the show and the consistent joke throughout, and probably till the day they finally give me fiber optic, because my internet is crap.
Yeah.
It is the worst. I've got these two little lovely people giving me grief because my audio is crappy. Well, when I've got 0.5 megabit upload speeds, that's why my audio is crappy. It's not my fault, it's BT. That really annoys me, is that in my country, BT have a monopoly. If you want your broadband to be good, then BT have to give you the service before you can even consider going to another provider. So like Virgin Media, they've got the best, I think, one of the better deals for getting fiber optic. But until BT get you fiber optic to your exchange, you can't go with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's great. It's a monopoly, but they have no incentive to give an upgrade. I've emailed them about R1, and I got a reply of because it's not deemed as economically viable to do that.
Oh, that's hard.
I was like, it's not economically viable. And then like they give it a link to go to this thing where you can actually group folk together to fundraise, to pay them to come and do it for you. And it's like, if it's not economically viable, why would I go out of my way to get you money to give me a service that I'm paying you for? I'm paying top dollar or pound for. I could outrun an email I send probably. I know I'm being facetious, but it's sometimes that bad. It's just like,
okay.
Oh,
listen,
you can't.
This isn't the Alan. This isn't the Alan cries about his internet. We hear that. We hear it 90% of the day. So we're gonna cut you off.
The thing is, right, there is something really nice about owning a physical copy of a game, having the box in good condition. Might I add, like a pristine box with all the artwork on it. You got a physical disc, especially Wii U disc.
I don't feel like
amazing.
See, here's okay. Look, because we got into it a little bit this week because you got your Ratchet and Clank and had a rip in it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't feel like games today are special. I feel like it's a plastic. No, it's not. Stop.
It is, man.
Stop. Go pull out one of your SNES games and open it up. And you have the plastic sleeve that's on it, and you have the cartridge, and you have the book. There's nothing in it. It's a plastic shell with a disc. It's not special. Stop with that nonsense. It doesn't look good. It's not sitting on your shelf. It does nothing.
It looks good.
Oh, stop.
The game boxes looks good.
No.
You know what? I'm with Toby, but I really hope if NX goes cartridges, like we say, that they come in the cool cardboard packaging with really cool artwork. Let's go full retro, people.
Like, you know what? That would be great because that is biodegradable. So cardboard is great for that. It's not great for lasting long, but
when okay. So when in Japan, when Nintendo put out Mario Maker, they made the game the same style. They put it in the cardboard packaging and everything that a Super Nintendo game was.
And that was beautiful.
That's special.
That was cool.
That is awesome. But when you do something and it's nothing, no. When it's just a shell, I don't care. It doesn't do anything for me. So when my decision on that is, what do I get with a special edition? Like, I bought Mario Maker, but I bought it for the art book. I wanted the art book.
Yeah.
That's why I bought the physical.
Does it really feel like you own the games, though? If it's just a digital thing on a computer,
yes.
Do you feel like you own it?
Yes.
Like, I don't feel that. I don't feel
I feel like it's convenience. I don't have to sit there and go, what do I want to play? Get up, put it in, and
just
then
lazy American.
No, it's not even about that. I can change games on the fly. I can literally just pick a game.
It is very good and convenient to have that.
You know, we talked about it earlier with the quick start menu that Nintendo put out. I can choose 3 or 4 different games that I played recently where you guys are stuck with whatever game is in your console.
Yeah.
And I don't have that. Like, I get the last 10 things that I've looked at is my option of what I want to go. So for me, that's perfect for digital because I could look at the last 10 digital games that I played and I could pick up and start up playing any of those immediately.
It took me 4 days to download Firewatch. It took me 2 hours to complete that game.
It took.
This is the world I live in.
Like 15 minutes for Firewatch. Like.
So once Alan moves out of a third world country, he'll consider
muting myself for just 30 seconds.
Digital. My.
Oh God.
Carry on. Don't edit that.
He lives in a land where they wear skirts, where the men wear skirts.
Also, physical copies are not linked to an account like digital copies are.
What's that?
A physical copy of a game is not linked to a digital account, right? Mm-hmm. So if I want to take my physical copy of a game to a friend's house, or if I want to get a new console, I've got the physical games ready to go. I don't have to re-download anything. I don't have to resync an account. I don't have to swap anything over. It's all there, physically. Just
Yeah, but
pop
how
the disc
often
in,
does
and
that
it's
happen?
fine.
Seriously, it doesn't happen that often.
No,
a big thing about digital is that trading in. If you could trade your digital copy back to Sony for credit to go and buy another game, that would make.
See, and that's why. Honestly, that's one of the things that pushed me to go digital. Was it keeps me from trading in games because that drives me crazy.
Do you not like the feeling of having a collection of games, like the value to them, not just monetary value, but like the feeling you get from having a collection of things?
With the old NES games and the old Super Nintendo games, absolutely. With discs, no, I don't.
So because it's a disc and not...
No, it's because when I look at my shelf and I got Dragon Warrior up there. It's complete in the box. When I go up there, I open it up. I can pull an instruction manual. I can look at the art in the book. I can read what the different things and this that, and the other. I got Disney Infinity sitting on the shelf below it. I go over. I open it up. It's a disc. It's nothing.
Disney Infinity is awful. I'm talking about proper games, right?
Okay, I got Mario Kart 8 sitting over there.
Yeah,
I got Galaxy 2. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for me.
It's so sad, Bobby.
It's not. How's it sad? How's it sad? Because I'm looking at it and I go, it's a piece of plastic with a disc inside of it.
So, alright.
Hey, listeners, if you think Bobby's dead inside, tweet at all of us.
He is dead
inside.
inside.
Hashtag dead inside.
I don't know. When I look at the two, I'm looking at my shelf. That's why when I look at the difference, I think that the older stuff meant something. It had more value to it and stuff. The new stuff it's just plain to me. It all looks the same.
So in 20 or 30 years' time, when Wii U is a properly retro console,
it's not even just Wii U. It's even
PS4. Anything.
Nothing has changed from the GameCube. They all look the same. Everything looks the same.
Yeah, but you've got that collection on the shelf. You've got value there. You've got.
What value?
Nice.
The problem is guys like you. Listen, the problem is guys like you look at it and go, "This might be worth money one day," and I can sell it.
Collect. I'm not thinking about selling it myself. Like right now, I've got no intention of selling any of my games. Right, but it's nice to think.
Money.
In 20 or 30 times, I'm gonna have a collection of games that are just gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice to own them, nice to feel nostalgic about them, and if I don't feel nostalgic about them, I've got an asset to sell on to somebody else. I can pass it on to somebody else. I can give it to my children. They can give it to their children.
I can give my children my console with all the games.
You're not having kids.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm not allowing it. I'm not
All
allowing
right,
you to
here,
have
little
children.
Timmy, have my digital account. That's
No,
crap,
it's
man.
not. You're making it like it's a digital. Like I'm giving them a digital account. I'm giving them a console with all the games on it. What's the difference?
It's tied to your digital account, though.
It's tied
That's how consoles are, man.
How is it tied to my digital
Look,
account?
you can't. All right, so
you have games on that console.
So you can. Yeah, you pay for them from
guess
your
that
account.
you
If you buy a Wii U for somebody else, you can't download that game again on somebody else's console because it's tied to your account.
Okay.
I think what Toby's getting at is if they had a system in place where I could go, oh, I finished this game, you're gonna love it. Here you go, Toby. You have a play, and it's like cool. And I mean, I know Microsoft were alluding to that, but they wanted you to always have to be online to do stuff like that.
Okay.
And
I feel like with our generation, yes, little kids might do that per se, but when's the last time you gave a friend a game, Toby?
I don't have any.
I don't really lend games to friends.
Exactly.
I used to.
So you just killed your whole point.
I lend
you used
movies to
but
friends.
your friends never give them back, and
I lend films and TV series to friends.
That's different.
Why is that different?
What do you mean, why is it different?
If I downloaded Game of Thrones digitally, I can't go, here, Mike, try Game of Thrones. Because he's going to go, oh, I can't because I have to sign into your account to watch it or whatever. No.
I do, and I've gone digitally with my movies as well now. Because I can get them 2 weeks earlier.
You're cold, man.
I'm not cold. It's not. Listen, it's called advanced technology.
Inside.
You have a situation upon you that you need a rude awakening to. There's a soon time coming when you're only going to be able to buy your games digitally, and you're going to have to make that decision to give up gaming or carry on.
No, never going to happen. Not going to happen.
You can't say never.
Not going to happen.
Why
Oh
not?
no, I can't say never, but it's not going to be not in the next 10 years.
I don't know.
There's a lot of countries in
but-
the world that don't have the opportunities that we have in terms of internet like we do, you know? And they still sell consoles there. They might be a few
There's
consoles
countries.
behind.
There's third world countries that have better internet than Allen does.
Yeah,
So I
there
don't know
are.
what you're talking
There are.
about.
But like some countries, right?
True.
The last generation is only just starting for them because it's cheap to produce that there. It's viable for people to buy it.
Yeah.
They've got physical things they can buy. Like they don't have to sit there and wait for a week to download Quantum Break. You know, they go out, they buy it, they put it in. It's fine.
Okay. Guys, I have to head. I'm already running late, so
Okay.
I'm gonna peace out on this one. Don't kill each other. Just,
We're
no.
leaving now. Sit tight for a couple seconds.
Yeah, we're wrapping up now anyway.
Wrapping up anyway. Calm down. Tell Amy to relax. I'll tell Amy to relax. Tell Amy to listen to this. Amy, relax. There you go. So, I don't know. I think that one of the biggest issues that people complain about is, or say that, like, Nintendo and Sony, they need, like, the brick and mortars in order to sell their consoles. And I don't agree with that no more. Because I feel like with where Amazon is now, they can sell pretty much everything that they need, people need, and you don't have to worry about it. So Nintendo could make a partnership with Amazon. They could just sell their consoles there if they had to. I think the bigger issue is internet, and I feel like there are countries, there are places like my Scottish friend that just doesn't have it together. So anyway, so that is all. Thank you guys for listening. If you listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Toby, I don't know what he's doing over there. His mic is going in and out because he's over there typing like a tool.
He's typing.
Yeah, he's yeah, exactly. Was that the train or was that you typing? So, thank you for watching this on YouTube. If you watch it on YouTube, you can follow me Instagram, Twitter at Nintendo Gurus. You can follow Alan at Alan_Paxton. You can follow Toby at Toby's Take on Twitter, at Amiibo_workshop on Instagram.
That's
You're
right.
gonna have to pick a name and stick to it because I'm not reading two names no more. It's done. This is the last time. Pick one, stick with it. I'm done with this nonsense. It's ridiculous that I have to read two names because you can't.
I've got a lot of pies, man. My pies. I've got
You have
multiple pies in the
15
oven.
different Twitter accounts, man. It's ridiculous.
No,
Yes.
I've got 3.
That is all.
3.
Peace out, Cub Scout.
Bye.
Nobody loves me.
That's not a shocker.